Jaya Sri Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe. This is Sunday Satsang, August 14, 2022, Radha Kunda, an assembly of great rishis and sages and tapasis and yogis, all gathered here on the banks of Radha Kunda to hear the sacred message of the Bhagavat and the Hari Katha of the Gaudiya Sampradaya. Special contribution to Gaudiya Sampradaya. So what are the questions? Yeah. This is like a mother cow and baby cow. The mother cow, she's 10 meters away from the baby cow, she's just looking. Even her body's facing this way, her head's turned this way. The baby's behind her, body's facing, she's looking. Her ears go like this. Where's the baby cow? Body's going that way. Body's going, but her head's going, my baby. The whole time, the baby's like, look. So you're like, this is your vatsa. Vatsa means baby calf and baby. Vatsa. Radhika, hey Teddy, there's a monkey. Oh my God, another monkey. You're out there, aren't enough monkeys in your life. You take a monkey to bed with you. God, she has a monkey doll. She lives in Vrindavan, has a monkey doll. I mean, so many monkeys. She wants to take a monkey to bed with her at night, the little girl. Radhika, what's a girl? Oh, he's like one monkey to another, you know. That's cute. She has to be reminded, you know. It was meditation, dhyan, you know. Questions?
Maharaj, in Puranas we hear that Krishna is mentioning to Arjuna that to worship me directly, somebody who is worshipping me is not my devotee, and somebody who is worshipping my devotee is my devotee. And in Bhagavatam also, Krishna is telling to Uddhav, Mad Bhaktya Puja Vidhika, the worship of my devotee is best. So, Maharaj, we see that people sometimes ask questions that it's okay, we know that Shivji and all Ganeshji and everybody is our part and parcel of Krishna and they are devotees of Krishna. So why not to worship Lord Shiva directly when Krishna is himself telling not to worship him directly? So in that case, if we are doing that, then we are deviating from our Ishtadev. And in one sense, we are keeping the promises of Krishna also to worship his devotees.
The question is that in Adi Puran, Krishna tells Arjuna, he says he's my devotee, he's not my devotee, but he's a devotee of my devotee, is my devotee. And Shiva tells Parvati in 4th canto of Bhagavatam, Radhanam Sarvesham Vishnu Radhanam Tatiyanam Smarchanam. Shiva says, oh Devi, of all worshipful personalities, Vishnu is supreme. Radhanam Sarvesham. Everyone, Sarva Vishnu, everyone worships Vishnu. But other things, Tadiyanam Smarchanam, things that are related to Vishnu are also equally worshipped. The things related to Vishnu are his bhaktas. Is Hoidam Vrindavan, Navati, Jainapuri, Dwarka. So these are to be worshipped. So the question is, Krishna says, he who worships my devotees is my true devotee. So why can't we just worship Shiva? And because she's a great devotee. Vaishnavam, 12th canto of Bhagavatam says, Vaishnavam yatad Shambhu. That Shambhu, Shiva, is not a name for Shiva. Shambhu is a great Vaishnava, Paravaishnava. He's also Mahajan, Tralasta Mahajan. Mentioned in 6th canto by Yamaraj, he describes it to us Mahajan. Narada Kapila Shambhu. Swambhu Narada Shambhu. Swambhu Narada Shambhu. Narada Muni Shambhu. And like that, the Manas, they're all Mahajans. So why can't we just worship Shiva? What was I didn't understand? What was the last part of the question? Why can't we worship Shiva instead of Krishna? I didn't get the connection there.
Maharaj, one side Krishna is saying to worship me, Sarv Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. And other side Krishna is mentioning that to worship my devotees.
Well, the thing is, the question is based on, because statements in Shastra, there's different types of statements made in Shastra. Some are exaggeration to get you to do something. Some are exaggerated to encourage you to begin, like all these glories of Kartik. You do Kartik, you offer one ghee lamp every day during Kartik, you go live in Vaikuntha for 1,000,000 years. Wow, that's a good deal. So it's extravagant benefits to induce the lazy people to do some bhakti in Kartik. Whether it's true or not, that's another issue. Is that really true? You get one ghee lamp is equal to 10 million ghee lamps. No, it's only 9,400,000. That to be exact. Now, it's just an exaggeration to get you to get off your butt and do something for the month of Kartik. So there's exaggeration in Shastra, there's glorification, and sometimes it's tattva, exact tattva. So we'll know what's what is difficult because it says Prokshavad Veda. Prokshavad Veda, it's the 11th canto that describes the Vedas are spoken in Prokshavad. Vad means speech, like Mayavad, speech about illusion, Brahmasluja, Mayavad. Advaitavad, Savisheshvad, Chincha Beta Tattvavad. That's our Vad, our philosophy, our talk, Vad. So, Prokshavad Samaveda. The Vedas are all the Vedas are spoken Prokshavad, which means indirect. Proksh means indirect glorification. Like I say, you indirectly glorified. There's someone who lives in the village and he's very attractive and he plays the flute and he loves to chase married wives of other people. Who is that? Well, that's Krishna. Oh, you know it's Krishna. Everything you described indirectly indicates Krishna. There's a guy who lives in a village, in a coward village, and he plays the flute and he chases other people's wives. Who else can it be? So that's called Prokshavad. So the Vedas are like that. So Krishna wants him to be, we want them to worship Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is Upanishad, Gita Upanishad. Bhagavad Gita is Mukhya Praman. Gita Mahabharata, Ramayana, these are Mukhya Praman. So what's said in Upanishads, this is the type of, this is the truth, this we should follow. Because the Vedas, they say some things are Vedic conjunctions. Yamas, Vidi, Shastra Vidi. Shastra Vidi means rules and laws of Shastra. You have to follow Kasi. You don't follow Kasi, you go to hell. That's the law, it's the rule, you have to do it. Human being, you have to follow Kasi. So these are rules and laws. So the law of truth, spiritual reality, is worship Vishnu. Vaishnava must worship God to perfect his human life and get liberation. Without indirect touch of bhakti or directly practicing bhakti, you can't get liberation by any path, karma, gyan, yoga, etc. So worshiping Shiva, that's very good also. But we worship Shiva, Gopis are also Shiva. You worship Shiva every day. You say, Govishwar Made, Bam Bam Bole, please bless us with the embrace of Krishna tonight. They said they worship Govishwar. Oh Namo, Idam Vilapatram, Oh Namo Shivaya, Idam Vilapathalam, Oh Namo Shivaya. And they offer puja Govishwar. And Arti, you can offer some datura, some bale, patra, and datura fool, and all of the different things they do to please him. And then they say, oh Shiva, we just ask for one thing. You're Ashutosh, you're Bholanath, you're innocent, you're simple, you're easy to please. Just bless us that tonight we get the embrace of Krishna, okay? Thank you, bye Shiva. Bam bam boli, and then they go run home, And they wait. Is Shiva going to fill our desires tonight? Are we going to meet with Krishna? I don't know. Jai, Shiva, please be nice to us. And every night they meet with Krishna and get embraced. Prema Lingata. Radha and the Gopis and Krishna. So, worshipping Shiva or Ganapati to attain Krishna Prema is okay, no problem. Your name is Shiva, what are you supposed to do, You have no choice. Your destiny is already written down. Shiva has to play an important part of your life. Wait to fire. Sadashiva is our boy, is our man. There he is. There's Sadashiva out there meditating, like you're saying. So that's a good question. So, worship. So, okay, Krishna said, you should worship my devotee. I'm more pleased if you worship my devotee than if you worship me. So, it's unless when your wife says, come to the temple, no, you're a great devotee. I'm worshiping you. You're a great devotee. Krishna said, if anyone worships the devotees, so I'll say I'll worship you. So sit down, let me worship you. That's not what he means to say. It's showing the supreme position of bhaktas. It's not that worship of the devotees is above and beyond and to the exclusion of Krishna. It's inclusive. It's Tadiyana, it's Vishnu Radham, Tadiyana Samarchanam. You worship Vishnu and you worship Tadiya, which means devotees. Now you just worship Tadiya and not Vishnu, not just worship Vishnu, not devotees. Many people do that. They just worship Vishnu and the hell with devotees, I don't care, get out of my way. That's not, Krishna's not pleased by that. So Krishna wants to emphasize, you love me and worship me, but also love my devotees and worship them. We're two, we're not one. Krishna's not one, he's two. We're not Brahmavadis, we're Vaishnavas. We worship two. Radha Krishna, Lakshmi, Narayan, Sitaram. So, because some people are like, Krishna's good. What about devotees? No, I don't need devotees, I need Krishna. They're not getting anywhere very fast, very slow progress. Krishna, all the time Krishna glorifying, himself is glorifying devotees and worship of devotees. So don't neglect them. The same thing is in 10th canto when Krishna went to visit Shuddhadev and Balasva. In Dwarka Lila, Krishna went to visit Shuddhadev, he's a Brahmin and Balasva is a king. So the Brahmin, Shuddhadev, he showed all kinds of regard for Krishna and worshipped him nicely, but he disregarded the sages of rishis traveling with Krishna. It's in Bhagavatam. And Krishna said, what is this? There's Vashishta Muni, Valmiki, there's all kinds of big rishis traveling with me. You're not paying much attention to them. They're equally as important. And Krishna preaches like 6 or 7 verses about the glories of Brahmins. Brahmins are worshipable from birth. Just by birth, a Brahmin's a guru. Whether he doesn't do anything his whole life, doesn't study Shastra, just gets a job in computers, like every Brahmin does, or he's a computer programmer and makes 2 lakhs a month and he has everything good, but it doesn't do much puja. He's a guru. Krishna says just by birth he's a guru. Krishna himself is speaking, so we can't deny it. We have to respect that. We have to honor that. Nice question. Okay, let's go more. Keep going. Any net questions? Not yet. Nobody got up on the line yet. Well, yeah.
I have a question about Jamastami.
Yes.
That in Raganuga Bhakti we follow the eternal associates, the eternal realm. So, but in the Leela they generally do Nandotsav, but not when the day when they are born. So why we celebrate on Krishna's birthday and not the day after, like they do in Nitya Leela?
So someone's asking a question. We're in Rag Marg. We're following Nitya Lila, Astakaya Nitya Lila, doing meditation and seva there. So what is the need, or why do we worship Janmashtami? Because that's just happened one time. Krishna appeared in Gokul as the son of Yashoda and Nanda, and the next day was Nandotsav, a big festival. So why do we observe? What's the need for paying much attention in Rag Marg, paying much attention to Janmashtami? So let me ask you a question. You only had one birthday party your whole life? Your parents only gave gifts the day after you were born. You don't remember it? Never had a birthday party after your birth? You say, yeah. So Krishna's Leela is Naratva. Naratva Leela, it's human-like. It's so human-like we can't understand it. So human-like we can't perceive it. So human-like we can't accept it. And lastly, we will never worship it. But as above, so below. Krishna, he's like us. Would you, if tomorrow's your birthday and we have a surprise birthday for Bhagavati, you're not going to come? If we invite you? Radharani, Krishna has a 3-day birthday party. It's in my website. There's a 3-day birthday party. It's on my Facebook about 5 days ago. It's got 300 likes. People are crazy about it. It was just taken. It was from Sri Krishna's Gaura Gutika. He has a section in the end of the book called Naimitic Leelas, which are occasional. Means they happen every year. So every year on Krishna's first year, second year, and as far as Radharani going to his house, she was going to his house every year from his first birthday to his 11th birthday. Or actually 10th. And when Krishna was 10 years old, 6 months and 8 days, he left Brajmandal to go to Mathura. So she celebrated his birthday. Not also she didn't celebrate. She wasn't born. I mean, she wasn't born yet. She was born a year later. So she didn't celebrate Nandosa. But every birthday party, Sri Krishna explains the Radharani and Nandababa and Sridham and the whole gang, all the Manjris, Sakhis, everybody. Baby Manjri, all baby Lalita Sakhi and baby Vishaka, they're all running down the road when they're 4 years old, going to Krishna's fifth birthday party. Then when they're 5 years old, they're going to a 6th birthday party. And 7 and 8. They got more interesting as they got older. The birthday parties got more interesting. Every birthday party, Radharani, the Lalita Vishaka, they all come to Nandagram and stay for 4 days. Birthday bash. Rock music, dancing, singing, playing, drinking, ecstasy, you know. So that's going on in the Leela. So when you're 8, 9, it's kind of boring. But when you get like 10, 12, and 13, you know. And the Padma Puran says that some people mature one half times the rate of ordinary people. So when Krishna was 11 years old in Vrindavan, he was 11 plus 6. 11 plus 6 means 17 years old. Mr. Cool, 17. And Radharani, she was 1 year younger, she was 16. Sweet 16. Madhuri Radharani ki jai. Madhuri Radha. So that was a very interesting birthday party. 4 days. And Krishna's bedroom, it's described in the palace of Nanda Maharaj. Krishna's bedroom is located architecturally on the first floor, right behind Radharani's room. And the question is not told in the drawing: is there a connecting door between those 2 rooms? That you have to see in your own meditation. Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe. That's your question. So it happens every year, his birthday party. Krishna, when you go to Varsana and Janmashtami, you can see Krishna in Varsana. He'll be there for 4 days. Look for him, go look for him. Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Sri Krishna Sharanam. That's nice. I like that mantra. Sri Radharani Krishna, I take shelter of them. Sharanam, they're my shelter. Beautiful. I love when people sing that Vallabhacharya flowers. I go crazy. I just sing Radha Krishna, my shelter. Sharanam, Sharanagati, Prabhu, Sharanagati Radharani. Sri Krishna is Srimati Radharani, Srimati Krishna. Can't separate Krishna from Sri, and you can't separate Sri from Krishna. Sri Krishna Sharanam, a beautiful mantra. Well, Acharya was a genius and a great Paramahamsa, Vaishnava. So, any more questions? Don't break the window. Yeah, they can't totally careful. You hit her head or hurt herself. Dangerous windows. She's so much dirt on the window she could do fingers. She's drawing through the dirt. She's drawing the dirt. She would have you fun in your house. Your house no fun, you know. You take her over here, her windows are spotless, clear, like crystal glass, you know. You have everyone has habits to brush your rush on. Sometimes the fan blows the dust off, you know, it helps out, you know. See out the window. The Hari House is not big on cleaning, I'm less big, so. Okay, question. Brahmachari Baba.
As I remember that we are all from the Taska Shakti, so we have nothing at the beginning, like no Siddhanta, no.
You ain't got nothing, man.
No Staiva.
It's all nose.
But sometimes some devotees feel some attraction to Radharani or Gauranga from beginning. Maybe it means that in previous life they have connection to.
Definitely.
But does it mean if we have some attraction to when we chant Radharani name or Gauranga name, we feel some joy? Does it mean that we already have Swarup and Staiva?
No. It's a quantum jump there. He said sometimes you find people like himself, maybe, for example, who hasn't taken Diksha, he lives in Radha Kunda, he loves Radha Kunda and Govardhan. And so he's obviously a special soul, special devotee. So initiation, that's a requirement of Shastra. But initiation really is about the heart matter. Accepting Krishna is the absolute truth, and my life is meant to serve him. I should try to serve him the best I can. That's your diksha. That's it, right? Abhiman is the precursor of every progress in bhakti, is having right abhiman, right mentality. Bhagavan, Krishna is Bhagavan, he's the absolute truth. Parameshwara, and he's Rasaraj, Rasa Shekhar, Akhila Rasamurti, and he's supreme controller and supreme everything, and I'm his devotee, I'm meant to worship and love him. That's the perfect Abhiman. What mentality do you want? And so if someone has that attraction for Radharani specifically, does that indicate that he has some sanskars from last life? The answer is definitely. Samskars itself, the existence of samskars is what determines what we like, what we're attracted to, what we like. Samskars express themselves as rag and dvesh. Rag means attachment, attraction, love, and dvesh means envy, hatred, distaste, distraction. Rag and dvesh. So these are the fruits of samskars. They manifest as rag and dvesh. Rag and dvesh which take the shape of vasana. Vasana means desires. It rise from our chitta, or subconscious chitta. They make us work and act and think and move in different ways. So if you're interested in Radharani, not so much Ramayana and Mahabharata and all that kind of those things, and living in Radha Kunda, I mean, he says, from last life, thank your stars, thank your stars, is an expression in America. It's your bhagya, so bhagya jeev. So run with that. So the question is, if we have that attraction, does that mean we have srup and we have everything in the bag? No, you don't have everything in the bag. You don't have a srup, you have a good thing. Keep going. And wait for those things are yet to manifest before you. Stairati, Svabhav, Stairati, and Siddhanta. They'll come, right Abhiman, all those things will come. So you're rightly situated. Keep going. Thank you for your question. Hey, who's in there? Machar Maki, who's in there? Chanty, Machar Maki. Who's in there? Hey, get out of there. Drink with your friends. I had some milk sitting on it, and I boiled it and cooled down. And last night I went to open it. There's 1,000 ants dancing around on top of the skin of the milk. They're dancing around the milk. I said, what? There's rustling on the milk skin. Well, get out of here, guys. There's like 16,108 ants dancing around the surface of the milk, having rustling ants. Having rustling ants on the milk, the skin on the milk, you know. Cow's milk. I said, get out of here, man. So I put the fan on high and tried to put the fan under the bowl, and it was too much wind. They blew off. They flew away. You know. Now I realized another new chapter of kitchen maintenance. The milk pot goes in a tally filled with water, so the ants don't have rust ants in their milk foam on their milk skin. God. I'm getting chanty soft. You know, they're all chanty are cursing me now. Hey, Baba, late. Here's your friend is here. He's keeping your seat warm. This is your friend. Take him home. Okay, flying monkey. She's too serious, boy. Watch out. Strange place, strange view. Watch out. Technical adjustments. Welcome. Okay, where are we going now? Where are we going? Do you have any idea? Questions?
Raji is saying that all the rishis, Vasus and Devtas, including him and Lord Shiva, are in mode of goodness. While in 6.3.21, Yamraji is telling that Bhagavad Dharma is known only by the Mahajans, which include Lord Shiva and Yamraj himself. So how can we reconcile both of this? Because we know that the Mahajans are already transcendental.
What was that word? Mahajans, what do you say?
Mahajans are out of the mode of material nature, we already know that. And while in the previous shloka, Chakravarti Pari is saying that they're in the mode of goodness, Yamraj, Lord Shiva, Devtas, Rishis and Vasus. So how can we reconcile both of these statements?
What is the point? Can you explain more clearly to me?
Maharaj, in 6.3.14, Yamraji is mentioning that we all, like all the Mahajans and all the Devtas, including Lord Shiva and Yamraji, they come in the mode of goodness. They are in mode of goodness. And in
sometimes.
Yes, sometimes. And in 6.3.21, where
like us.
Yes. And in 6.3.21, when Yamraji is mentioning the names of 12 Mahajans, he is telling that all the Mahajans knows the Bhagavad Dharma. So, and he is quoting also Bhishma Dev that Mahajano ena gatha sapanta. You have to follow on the path of Mahajans. So how do we reconcile? One side, Chakravarti is mentioned that they are in the mode of goodness. So how they are able to know the Bhagavad Dharma when they are in the mode of goodness? And Krishna is Gunatit.
Okay. So the question is how the Mahajans who Yamaraj or Vishnu's commentary on 6th canto, chapter 2, verse 13, 14, and other verses, where Yamaraj is glorifying the Vishnu Bhaktas and all this discussion about centering around Jamil story. So there's some tava there described. So how are the Mahajans? Vishnu Chakravarti says the Mahajans are situated in Sattvagun, and these are also draws to Mahajans. Yamaraj says also that Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Prahlada, Janaka, Vishwa, Bali, Kapila, Janaka, Kapila, Manu, Janaka, Kapila, Manu, Bali, Ravaya, Sakir. Yamaraj himself is speaking, these are the 11 Mahajans, and me is 12 Mahajans. So we're the great teachers of spirituality. So how these Mahajans, who Vishnu says they're a mode of goodness, how can they understand Bhagavad Dharma? So the same question is asked in Shruti Stuti of the 10th canto, chapter 87. The rishis met Chatur's Kumar, one of the four Kumaras, and it's described there. They said, how can material words describe transcendental Bhagavan? Bhagavan is Satchidananda Rup. He's transcendence personified. And how can material language describe spirit, which is lokic, describe spiritual phenomena? Our ability to communicate is just material words. So this question was asked by the sages, and Sanat Kumara gave the answer, and it's in Brahmanda Puran, and that's quoted in Vishnu's likely Tika in the chapter 87, the 10th canto. Chapter 87 has 40 verses in it, and Vishnu's, it's not a 45 verse, whatever, and Vishnu's Chakravarti's Tikas are 40 pages. 40 pages of Tikas, more than any chapter, Brahma Gita, or any other chapter. So he gives amazing Tikas. So and then the discussion goes different ways, and the conclusion is Krishna himself speaks. The way the devotees are able to understand the transcendence is by bhakti. Like Gita, Krishna says, Bhakti Mama Janati Yavan Yashtadvi Tattvata. He says, Bhakti Mama, only my bhakti you're able to understand the Tattvata. You understand the truth. So this transcendental, alokik Advaita Gyan is a lokik Tattva. We can only understand transcendental knowledge by the mercy of Krishna, by practicing bhakti. So that was a great conclusion. The rishis concluded, the Shrutichari rishis. So the same thing, the Mahajans are a mode of goodness, and so are devotees a mode of goodness. So we're also understanding Bhagavad Tattva by the mercy of Bhakti Devi and Krishna himself. So the Mahajans are also, sometimes, not all the time, Shiva is not all the time a mode of goodness. Sometimes he gets pretty whipped up in the top of good. Chandra Nitya, a lot of Rajagun in there, Rajagun, da. Just Pralaya, destroying her. Tavagun and Rajagun mixed combination. Good mix. Watch out. So the Tavagun goes parked in a garage somewhere, at that time. But when they're speaking Tava, when Shiva speaks Guru Gita to Parvati in Skanda Purana, Guru Gita's perfect teaching. Guru Gita, I sent you some verses. Guru Gita is very extra teaching on the qualities of Guru and actions of Guru. So when the Mahajans are speaking Tava, it's perfect because they're empowered by Krishna. Tricky answer. So there's sattvic, when there's sattvic, when they're speaking about Krishna, it's transcendental. Vishuddha Sattva, Shakti is working there. Krishna himself is speaking Bhagavad Katha. When anybody speaks Ram Katha, Kim Purushaloka is very far from here. Kim Purushaloka is where Hanuman lives. Kim Purushaloka, one form lives in Kim Purushaloka, one form lives in Yodhya. It's called Dakshin Mukh Hanuman. Why is he Dakshin? Why is he Uttar Mukh or Purva Mukh? Dakshin Mukh means he's looking southwards. Because what's south of Ayodhya? Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is the home of Ravana, who was killed by Ramchandra. So Hanuman sits in Ayodhya, Dakshin Mukh. The Murti is facing south. Every Murti faces east, but Hanuman's facing, and that is called Dakshin Mukh Hanuman. Those south-facing Hanumans, they're very powerful to destroy. It's called Sankat Mochan. Sankat Mochan Hanuman. Sankat Mochan Hanuman ki. Jai. Dakshin Mukh Hanuman ki. Jai. Bajrang Bali ki. Jai. Jai Shri Ram. Shri Ram. Sita Ram, Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram. Sita Ram, Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram. Jai Lakshman Hanuman ki Jai. Jai Radhika Rani ki Jai. So he's there keeping an eye on Lanka. And what way we have a Hanuman on the prickle mark and Radha Kunda, which kind of Hanuman is he? What kind of Hanuman is he? On the Radha Kunda prickle mark there's a Murti of Hanumanji. Which direction is he facing?
East. South.
He's facing you. Right now, he's facing you. He's facing south. Because he's Sankat Mocha. He sees of all the Sankat. Sankat means hassles, problems, difficulties, husbands, wives, etc. He eats them up. He chops them up. He's called Sankat Mocha and Hanuman. The Hanuman in Radha Kunda Prikamar is Dakshin Mukh. This Mukh means face. Chandramukhi. And Dakshin means southern direction. He's facing south. So it's good. When you do Prikam, you pray, hey Baba. Hey Hanuman Baba. I got Kub Sankat. Sankat. I Kub Sankat, please, Das Toga. So it's nice, because he's at the end of the Prikama. Shiva's at the beginning of Prikama. Shiva's Purvadig, he's facing east. He's facing east and all that. So you start Prikama by paying obeisance to Kundeshwar. Please let me enter Radha Kundam. Let me do Prikama. Please take away my false ego, my Hankar. Because he worships, Shiva worships Shankarshan, and Shankarshan is Nath, Hankar Nath. He's the Lord of Hankar. False ego. I'm the enjoyer. Purushabhiman. Let's enjoy. Let's party. Party hardy. They say in America. Party hardy. But, so we start with limiting our false ego, then we go all the way around the Prikamar, then we end with Hanuman and say, I hope I got rid of my false ego. If I didn't, please, that's a big sun cut. Please liberate, Mocha means liberate me from my sun cut. Liberate me from my biggest problems. My biggest problems is thinking I'm the doer, I'm the enjoyer. That's my biggest problem in life. Saying, I'm the enjoyer, I'm the doer. I did it. Maya. Prabhupada gives a beautiful definition of Maya. He says, Maya, that which is not. And it's heavy English, Bengali accent. That which is not. That which is not. We're not this body. Really? I thought I was. Buzzing out a cold beer. 2 week beer, not 1 month, 2 week. Okay, cool, okay. Put my sunglasses on. Tilt my head, gotta tilt your head a certain angle. Okay, I'm cool. Okay, now I'm ready to go outside. Illusion, ma. Okay, what's that question? I don't know where it came. It's gone now. Goodbye. What's the time now?
4:40. 4:40.
Thank you. Four 4:40, 5:46, 1 hour 20 minutes. Empty tank also. Had to go reserve tank. It's nice here you're reading Bhagavatam. Very nice report. 6 hours, 5, 6 already done. Great, very, very wonderful. See the difference, no kids and no mother-in-laws. It's a lot of free time, Good deal. Fantastic. There's married people in Delhi haven't read 2 cantos in 20 years. I'm not back there, I'm over here. Radhika. She's saying, Daddy, where's my water pistol? Daddy, where's my water pistol? The water pistol, you put a little plastic thing for water and she wants to squirt somebody. You know who it is? Me. Later. It's not holy time yet. Questions? Yes.
I want to ask about the Lalita Shastri. Some devotee told this is appearance day of Lalita, some devotee told this is appearance day of Durga, 2 September.
Question is about the Lalita Sakhi Avirbhav, the appearance of Lalita Sakhi, mystery. What is a mystery? Well, there's different people have different sources of information. So we have to respect those different sources of information. Some information comes from Lok Parampara. Lok Parampara means the voice of the people. Tradition it's like tradition of the village. Like Brijvasis, for thousands of millions of years, they'll say one particular fact or figure. And then the Shastras may say something different. So you have to choose who your authorities are. Because there's Shastra, Agamas, Shastra, Shastreshu, Lok Parampara, many sadhus, Mahajans, Gurus, there's many sources of information and many sources of authority, and they're all correct. So you have to choose which ones you're going to follow. So in Gaudiya Sampradaya, we follow 3 sources of authority, 3 sources of information. Shastra Praman, Guruvani Praman, and Sadhavani Praman. These are Praman. Praman means evidence, solid truth. We follow Shastra Praman, Guruvani, the words of Guru Praman, and Sadhu Praman. It doesn't include Brijvasi Parampara, Lok Parampara. So we have these are our sources of authority, and these are our sources of information regarding truth of dates and locations of birthplaces, etc., etc. The Imbarki Sri Radharani is born in Varsana. We respect that. We say she's born in Raval, near Gokul. So that's different sources. We have our sources. They have their sources. So we follow our Shastras, our Guru, and Sadhu. So what is it? The question is, so when is Lalita Sakhi's appearance day, according to us, Gaudiya Sampradaya? Because Rishvasis, they celebrate, I don't know if they even celebrate, I don't think it's a very big day. From my experience in Brajmandal, I don't see Lalita Sattvanis even celebrated in Litagan, Unchagan. Even the day before Radhastami, there's nothing going on in Unchagan. We go there, the only people go there on the day before Radhastami, it's called Lita Sattva in ISKCON calendar. The day before Radhastami, the only people that go to Unchagan that day are from ISKCON. They go and do their arting and pujas. You don't see any signs of any festival. You don't see any decorations. There's nothing going on. There's no festival. What happened? It's just us here and Lita? Okay, good. Lita's reserved, the day is reserved for ISKCON. So, but we have, that's called Guruvani Parampara. So ISKCON is following Guruvani Parampara. But however, look at this example. In the history of ISKCON, from 1965 to 1977, Prabhupada never gave one lecture on Lalita's appearance day, and never told anywhere in any letter, any lecture to worship or honor that day of Lalita's appearance. Well, why do we go there? They organize a big bus from Vrindavan, we go there. Okay, there's no harm. Every day you can worship Lalita Sakhi, we should worship Lalita Sakhi. But I don't think that it wasn't instituted by Prabhupada. During Prabhupada's time, I've been 47 years around ISKCON. in and around, in and out and near, from and to and with ISKCON for 47 years. That's a lot. That's a short time. I was in temples at Radha Krishna, Lita Vishaka. We didn't do anything on Lita's affairs. Nothing. Jai, Lita Soyuki Jai. We didn't chant Lita Astakam. There was no Lita Astakam. We didn't know anything about it. It came out 10 years ago or so. No, Lita Astakam, you want to Astakam. Oh, really? We didn't know anything. We just chant Hari Krishna and dance and ecstasy. And sold books and worship Krishna. That's all. Simple life, you know. Everybody's got this Astakam, that Astakam, this thing, that thing. It was a little confusing life, you know. And everything. I'm a big devotee. I got all these things. Well, all the original devotees were Prabhupada's great saints, the Gargamuni and Brahmananda and Jadharani and Satsrup and all those great Rita and all those original old devotees. They didn't know any Astakam. There was none of that stuff. There was Guru Astakam. Only Astakam was Guru Astakam and Goswami Astakam Vas. Guru and Goswami, we don't know anything else. Now there's thousands of Astakams and Gaudiya Vaisnava songbook and this songbook. Mayapur ISKCON songbook has 500 bhajans. Bengali bhajan. It's published by Mayapur, BBT Mayapur. In Bengali, 500 bhajans in the book. It's paperback book. It's like this thick. So you're Bengali, you're in bliss. You're in heaven, you know. All the Bengali Vaishnavas of Bengal, they come to ISKCON for one purpose, to buy that book. Where's that book? It's the biggest seller, that book they have in the temple, you know. Gita Gan, which is Prabhupada took the 700 verses of Sanskrit verses of Gita and made a Bengali shloka out of it. Just like Sant Tulsidas took the Sanskrit of Valmiki's Ramayan and put it in Hindi called Ramcharitamanas. And Ramcharitamanas sells billions of copies every day, and Sanskrit Ramayana sells one copy. It's Hindi, you read the Hindi Ramayana, it goes da 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 bingo da da tingo da da wingo da wingo. Every it's end line rhyme. It's very easy to remember shlokas from Ramcharitamanas. Da da pinko da da stinko. I can show you shlokas. It sounds like some child's rhyme, but they're very beautiful. Tattva, everything's there, and you can sing it. It's very simple. So everybody can sing the Ramcharitamanas, so it's very good and helpful. So everybody knows about Rama's Leela. Every little kid can sing it. In the village, they do Ramayana Pat. It takes 24 hours to read Ramcharitamanas, 24 hours. So they set up in our neighborhood, they set up a table with a speaker and blessing, and for 24 hours to celebrate someone's birthday or marriage ceremony, many times, everywhere is some of this Ramcharitamanas. And this 10-year-old kid sits there and chants. His mother takes a turn, his father takes a turn. Anybody can chant Ramcharitamanas. There will be some fucking Brahmin, Sanskrit, Sanskrit's difficult stuff to read and chant. But it's common Hindi. So Prabhupada did the same thing for Bhagavad Gita. It's called Gita Gan, the Song of Gita. Gita Gan in Bengali. And they sell 1 million copies every month in Bengali. It's the biggest selling book in ISKCON Mayapur. Prabhupada. So what Sant Tulsidas did for the Ramayana, Prabhupada did for the Bhagavad Gita in Bengali. So that's a great glory of ISKCON, a great glory of Prabhupada. Everybody in Bengal comes to ISKCON. All the Bhajanwalas come to ISKCON to buy the Bengali songbook, and all the religious people of Bengal, any Durga worship, anybody wants to see it, they come to get Prabhupada's Gita Gan. They go in the villages all around Mayapur, Bengal, Navadvip, everywhere, and they sell millions of copies of Prabhupada's book. Did you know that? Did you know that fact? This is a fact, 'cause I have friends in Mayapur, ISKCON, Bengalis. They told me. That's another great glory of Prabhupada. I mean, what a, his native birthplace, born in Calcutta. So he Sant Tulsidas is pretty famous in this part of the world, but Prabhupada's super famous in that part of the world. Manipur, Orissa, Bengal, Assam, Mirzapur, all those northeast states. Prabhupada's very, very famous. Prabhupada ki jai. So, that's nice. Prabhupada. But now, Teddy Bear, what's his name? Bandar Baba? What's his name?
दादी का नाम क्या है इसका? नहीं पता, पता नहीं.
Yeah, and I know that. Nae Pata, I don't know. Give a name. Give a name, Kakati. Can you say, ask her to say Kakati? This is Kakati. This is Rarai's pet monkey. So you tell her, you're her father, tell her. Who is it? Tell you tell show her the monkey, tell her who it is.
काकाती.
Kak, K-A-K-K-H-A-T-I, Kakati.
काकाती नाम दादी का इसका.
Not Kakati, Kakati.
काकाती.
Not Kakati.
पहले में ही मात्र का
काकाती.
Yeah.
दादी काकाती है. क्या नाम है? बंदर.
Choti or Vara? Vara or Choti? This is who we're talking about. These pictures in every post office in India. Wanted, dead or alive. This is Bandar Bandit. Bandar Dako. Dangerous Dako of India, Bandar Dako. He's world famous now. Let's see the kind of people I attract monkeys. What is this? What is this here? Question. Another question? Not yet. Yeah, question.
In Guru Tattva, it is saying, okay, I will not quote, just if person does not develop Vishwampa Bhava in this life and did not meet his Sadguru this life, does it mean that he cannot develop Prem Bhakti in this life? And it means that he should born again until he will not find his Sadguru Vishwampa, and after he can develop Prem Bhakti.
Your question?
if Vishrambha and Guru said if that is not developed, can he not attain prema? I mean, he or she, can he?
No, can you say, I got a rough idea, but just tell me again. What's the first? The first doesn't have a Sadguru, what are you saying?
Yes, the idea if in this life, if it's not available for person to develop a close relationship with Guru, does it mean that he cannot develop close relationship with Krishna and Radharani? And means next life he should born again and meet his
No. The question is, because in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Jiva Goswami describes the steps of bhakti. The first step is Guru Padashraya, taking shelter of Guru. Second step is take Diksha. Third step is to take Shiksha. Guru Padashraya, Diksha, Adi, Shikshanam. And the fourth step is Vishwambhena Guru Seva, to serve the Guru with great love and intimacy and respect and everything combined together. So the question is, if someone is taking Diksha from a Guru, but they don't have much association with the Guru, they're not able to have, well, I don't know what you want to say, but not able to have personal association with the Guru. And personal association with the Guru, can that person still develop prema? The answer is, of course they can. Because personal association with the Guru doesn't depend on sitting in the same room with the Guru. Personal association depends on seeing the Guru in your heart. Your heart is a room. That's the room of the heart. That's four rooms in your heart. The heart has four parts of the heart. Right auricle, left auricle, right ventricle, left ventricle. There's 4 compartments of the heart, 4 rooms. So one room of the heart is for Krishna and Radharani, one room is for Krishna, one room is for Radharani, one room is for Guru, and one room is for my Siddhanta. So we all live together. Guru, Siddhanta, Radha and Krishna. Me and my Siddhanta, I live in one part of my heart. My Guru and his Siddhanta live in another part. Radha lives in one part. And Krishna, we keep him there also. He's nearby. So Krishna's also in our heart. But Radharani has a drawing room. It's not with Krishna, with the mantris, with Guru Sakhi. Krishna doesn't know it. No. So the answer is definitely a person can develop prema by practicing Bhakti Bhajan, having taken Diksha, which means Gopal mantra and Kam Gayatri. He's received Diksha from a Guru, which is defined as receiving these are the Diksha mantras in Hari Bhakti Vilas and Sandarbhas. Diksha means receiving these mantras, Gopal mantra and Kam Gayatri. So if you receive these mantras, if you're near the Guru, you're far physically near the Guru, physically far from the Guru, it's no impediment for developing prema bhakti in this very life. That's the power of bhakti. So no fear, no tension. Tension-free life. Read Bhagavad Gita. They have outside the truck in Delhi. A big truck they go out every day for book distribution. And inside 1,000 Gitas, 1,000,000 Gitas. And inside says tension-free life. Tension-free life. Read Bhagavad Gita every day. And they open the door, it folds up in the van. They pull out a table and start selling Gitas like crazy. Every day. So no tension. If you have a Guru, you're successful. It's just, the race, you win the race faster the closer you are to the Guru. There's something called Vani Seva and Bhava Seva. Bhava Seva is very rare to get Bhava Seva, to have personal service and association with the Guru. Like my Guru, they had most of his disciples were in Calcutta and Assam and Bengal and places like that. And only a few were here in Brajmanda, mostly Babajis and renunciates, living in Brajmanda. But many grihastas there, they don't get to see him much. He would go there every year himself. He left the world 101 years old. In his 99th year, he went on the train to go visit them in Calcutta for 10 days, 2 weeks. I said, why are you going? They can come here. No, they want me to go there. I have to go. They're my disciples. I have to take care of them. Oh, you're 99. And then he was going in second class. I said, tickets are already booked. I came to find out about it. I said, where are you going? AC, second class. I said, no, I think I'll buy an AC ticket for you and your servant. No, I don't like AC. I like second class. So you go second class, all windows, all smoke, everything. Okay, fine. Haribo, Jaya Jaya. Jaya Jaya Sri. So you turn it, I don't want AC. No thanks. So 99 years old, he goes there for 2 weeks. That's the Guru Karuna, a compassionate Guru. You can't come to me, I'll go to you. So Guru is like one time I said this many times, I'll say it again because it's a nice thing to remember. Prabhupada was crossing the street in 2nd Avenue, New York City with Brahmananda and Gargamuni and Jadharani and Yamuna Devi and Shudois. And one Jadharani said, or Shama, her name is Shamarani now, somebody said, Prabhupada, do you miss Bhakti Siddhanta? No. And what? You don't miss him? Well, you don't miss him? No, he's right in my heart. He's never left my heart. From the day I met him, I put him, I moved him, I accepted him in my heart. He never left my heart. He's always with me. I never feel separated from him. Oh, Jai Prabhupada. So this is the real Guru Shishya Sambandha. It's a matter of heart, not body. But it's a fact, there's something called Vani Seva and Bhava Seva. And Jiva Goswami says Bhava Seva is a great fortune and it's very powerful to enhance the bhakti bhajan of the disciple, because they get more access to the bhava of the guru. Because if you have personal association with the guru, like if you're a man, you can touch the body of the guru as transcendental body. You can touch the body and get purified that, or you can get remnants from the guru. That's a rare thing. I remember we were in LA, Los Angeles, the world headquarters of ISKCON in the old days. LA, I was in the LA temple. And the boys would say, we just got a jar. We got a jar from India with Prabhupada's remnants. And, oh, all right. And the temple president would bring it to the Sankirtan devotees, because we got special privileges. Book distributors, you know. So they said, come to 9 o'clock before you go on Sankirtan, come to the Sankirtan office. So we all got there, we're waiting, okay, what's it going to be, you know. Say, wow, this glass jar. And clear, took the label off the bottle, inside we see all the remnants of Prabhupada, kachoris and ladus and all kinds of things, and some bite marks out of things. Oh, and we're all looking, oh, wow. And it's like, what's my number's going to come up? You know, you go to spin the wheel, So then the guy, the Sankirtan leader started saying out the mala. I had my eye on, there was only one kachori there, or there was some bite mark out. I was looking at that like Arjuna looking at the fish, you know. I looked at it, I said, I want that. I just said, Krishna, I want this, I gotta have this. I had to have this one. I had to have this. I had to get this. I didn't say anything, you know, everyone was quiet, everyone was like, oh, wow, you know. So then he's saying, then he got this samosa, he said, who did I get this to? I said, I was quiet. If I'm supposed to get it, I get it. He said, you get it. I said, yeah. Prabhupada ki jai. So I had a bite of Prabhupada out of his eye. I was like, wow, this is a nice, good deal, you know. It's a big thing. You should smile. He's like,
His favorite kachori, every morning.
huh?
Kushal every morning kachori. Very light.
Khichdi.
Kachori.
Kachori, oh, right. True Brijwasi. Kachori and hot pudina chutney, or tamarind chutney. Great. Questions? Oh, no. Questions? 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 Nursery school, ki jai. Questions? Baba, come on. Okay, he woke up, okay.
Sanatana Goswami has a shastra, forgive me, I can't remember the name of it, but a jiva goes to Vaikuntha and he's unsatisfied because he has the mood of a Gopal.
Yeah.
In this
It's called Brihad Bhagavatamrita.
Thank you. In this shastra, does he come back to samsara before he can go to Gokul? Or is he able to go directly to Gokul with his bhakti? I'm not sure.
That's a nice question.
And if he does come back, is this in any violation of the idea that you can't come back from the spiritual world?
That's a really tricky one, that one.
Yes, I was just curious of the
That's a tricky one. That's a really tricky one, because the fall bodies can use that argument. In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there's a story of a Brijwasi boy named Gopa Kumar. Gopa Kumar means boy, young boy. And Gopa means coward boy. So he was a Vishwasi who lived 500 years ago, at the time his son Goswami wrote the book. And he was playing with his friends like boys do, and some sadhu was traveling around here and there, some Vaishnava, and he saw the boys playing. He saw Gopakumar, he said, he noticed he had nice behavior, and so he called him over and gave him Diksha. He gave him Gopal mantra, 8-syllable Gopal mantra or something like that. 10-syllable Gopal mantra, some Gopal mantra. It says in it, Satsang Goswami's commentary, you mentioned the mantra. I think it just doesn't, the Gopi Janavala is not in the mantra, because it's Madhurya Rati, so he's a Gopa, he's a coward boy, and his Sthai Rati, the way he wants to love Krishna, is Sakya Rati, it's a coward boy, like Sri Dhan Subal, he wants to love Krishna like that. So the guru understood that, because he's guru, so he understands everything. So he gave a mantra that doesn't have Gopi Janavala in it. It's called Gopal mantra. It's 18 syllables. Lord Chaitanya got a Gopal mantra of 10 syllables, and his Gopal mantra was Klim Gopi Janavala Vai Swaha, because Lord Chaitanya is Krishna and Radha Bhav. So he doesn't need Krishna, because the word Krishna and Govinda is not necessary. But those indicate Sakya-ras, Vatsaya-ras, Shanta-ras, Dasya-ras can indicate that also. But when a Madhurya Maya Bhakta gives initiation in Gopal mantra, 18 syllable Gopal mantra, he explains how every word in the mantra indicates Radharani and Krishna, Madhurya Rati. Because the conception, it's called mantra art. The meaning of the mantra is given by the Guru at the time of Diksha, the meaning to meditate on. So Gopakumar, he got a mantra to worship his Ishtadevata. When you have an Ishtadevata, you need a mantra to worship Ishtadevata. And mantra siddhi, when you attain perfection, you're chanting your mantra, you get darshan of your Ishtadevata. So Ishtadevata was Gopal, and the mantra, he chanted a mantra to worship Ishtadevata called Gopal mantra. By chanting that mantra, you got darshan of Krishna, Gopal. So by chanting mantra, he was just sitting there, and in his subtle body, he traveled to the spiritual world. It all happened in one place. He was seeing Govardhan. He went to so many different places, on the subtle body traveled. He didn't change his body. He was in the same body every place that Gopakumar visited. He never left his body. He never changed his body. It's all on a subtle platform of mind, buddhi, and ahankara. He traveled everywhere. So he went to Golok Vrindavan. He had darshan Krishna. Krishna embraced him. Then he came back. He came back. He was a pure devotee. He was a pure devotee. He was a praying bhakta. So he came back and stayed around a little bit to benefit others, and went back to Krishna. Those details are not described in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. The answer to your question is not described there. It just describes that he went to Golok. He persistently kept chanting his 10-syllable Gopal mantra. He wasn't satisfied. Whatever position, wherever he went, he wasn't satisfied till he got to Vrindavan and got Gopal, because that's the perfection of his mantra, darshan. And Gopal embraced him and he fell on the ground, and that was it. So it doesn't describe that he came back. So I can't say he went back. Because there's also a fact, before Vishwanath published Raghvartman Chandrika, the writings of the Goswamis say, when you attain perfection in this body, you go right to Nitya Lila. There's no stopover in Bhoma Vrindavan, Prakat Lila. You just enter Nitya Lila. So Brihad Bhagavatamrita is an example of a sadhaka who was in Sakya-rati chanting Gopal mantra. He went directly to Krishna Lila. He didn't come back. He didn't fall from Vaikuntha. You can't support fall about that, because it's not told that. Siddhanta Goswami, in the commentaries, in the BBT edition of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, it doesn't have commentaries of Siddhanta Goswami. It has commentaries of Gopi Pranadhana, which are sometimes mixed up with the commentaries. You don't know which is which. So unless you have a Hindi edition, then you may get the Shamlal Hakim, Harinam Press. If they have Brihad Bhagavatamrita, you get the right commentary. Siddhanta Goswami commentary, Hindi. or Kannada bookstore, maybe some other Vaishnava. So he hit the pay dirt, you know. He got perfection. He went. He said, no thank. Age car. Go higher. He went here, went there, went here, there, and finally, the buck stops here. I'm not going. I made it. They embraced you. Krishna fell ecstasy with his devotee. Devotee fell ecstasy with Krishna. They embraced, were all on the ground, tumbling in ecstasy. Everybody said, "What's this? What's going on? Who's this guy? He's a new guy, newcomer. He's got dust and brush on his body. He's got brush of dooley on him. He smells a little different than us, you know. He has a little different smell on him. You know, up there is a divine place, divine fragrance. He's a sadhana siddha bhakta. Oh, welcome, sadhana siddha Baba." Gopal Kumar hit the perfection. So he shows the example of perfection in Gopal Mantra. Everything happens in this body, right here, right now time. He had all those experiences. People get different classes on Briya Bhagavatam because they're not trained by a proper guru to understand the tattva, so they get all different ideas. But it's not. It's the self-same body. Like Dhruva Maharaj went to the Vaikuntha in the self-same body. He didn't change his body. Fourth account of Bhagavatam. His body became Chinmaya Deha. His body, he's chanting Gopal Mantra, his Gopal Kumar, his body became Chinmaya. There was no more Gunamaya, no more Gunamaya Deha. It's only Chinmaya. So when that Chinmaya Deha went, he traveled to Goloka, met Krishna, embraced him, and stayed there forever. Eternally happy, eternally serving Krishna, Gopal, and the pastures of Braj Bandal and Sekhiras. Happy ending. All right, glory to Gopal Kumar. May we be so fortunate. Oh, wow, question.
Radha.
Right.
But in Bharat Maharaj's story, he's in Bhava stage, like his feelings for Krishna.
Yeah.
But even at the stage, he got sidetracked and he got attached to it. Means, what exactly is happened there? Means, why even at that stage, how he has got feelings for, and how can we avoid it? And what is it?
Question asked about 5th canto Bhagavatam. Sir Maharaj Bharat, and he had attained a very high level of bhakti bhajan by practicing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. And you come to the level of Bhav. Bhav has different stages. There's different stages, and it's not Bhav. It's not just Bhav. Bhav has different levels, different stages. And how is it that he's at the level of Bhav, which is a high level of spiritual advancement, Nishta Ruchi Asakti Bhav? How is he got materially attached to a deer? Because he has a soft heart. He's a bhakta. Bhaktas have soft hearts. And the symptom of Bhav is softening of the heart. So his heart's softened by the influence of Bhava Shakti, or the Bhava Bhakti. His heart became soft. But it had some scars in his heart of bodily affection. He had affection for bodies, for his wife's body. He had hundreds of queens. He was a big king. So he left all that behind, but he still had some scars, some subtle material affection for physical bodies. So he was affectionate for that baby deer. Baby deer used to come and kiss his nose in the morning. Oh, it's cute, the baby deer, cute. His little babies used to kiss his nose when he was a king. So now his little babies became baby deer. So all those sun scars distracted him from his goal of life. You can read Madhurya Kadambini, the description of sins of Bhava and then Prema. You see that the anarthas exist even to the level of Prema. There's a tendency to fall down even to the level of Prema. And then he says there's 60% advanced, 85%. I have a post on my website called Gradual Process, and describes that at Nishta is so much percentage Krishna consciousness, so much Maya. Then Bhava, so much percentage Maya, so much. And Prema. So until one is fully established in the absolute truth in Prema, then he's free from all knowledge and will never fall down. So that's Vaidhi Marg. He's describing Vaidhi Marg. But Raganuga Marg is a whole different ballgame, because part of your question is, how can I make sure it doesn't happen to me? I can guarantee it won't happen to you. Because we're not following Vaidhi Marg, we're following Rag Marg. And when you come to that lofty stage above, you'll be seeing your Siddhanta. You'll be seeing your Guru Siddhanta and having Darshan, Radharani, and Spurti. This is the gift of Rag Marg and Bhakti Bhajan. So there's no question of Raganuga Bhakti, the level of Bhava falling down. Very, very difficult. Very difficult. But if it makes aparad, then that's the problem. That's the last snare of Maya, Vaishnava aparad. Careful, Savadan. Vaishnava Savadan. Akanta Puran. I fell out to the neck. Oh, no tension. Read Bhagavad Gita. Rag Marg is a very powerful path because it invokes Anugraha Bhagavan. Because Rag Marg, you're serving the heart of Krishna, and Vaidhi Marg, you're observing Navadita Bhakti. There's some distance, there's some formality. Rag Marg, you're in the heart of Krishna and the heart of Radharani. That's the difference. Vaidhi Bhakti, you're serving outside. You're outside serving Krishna's external body. And Navadita Bhakti, hearing about Krishna, worshiping Krishna. You're worshiping and worshiping Krishna. You're out. The Vaidhi Sag is outside the body of Radha Krishna. The Rag Bhakti is inside the heart of Radha Krishna. That's where he lives. His heart is there, his bhava is there, his meditation is there. It's a big difference between Vaidhi Sag and Rag Bhakti. But they get that Rag. Bhagavat Krunya Bhakta Tat Bhakta Krunya. You only get greed to follow Rag Bhakti by the mercy of Bhagavan or Guru. Devotee. No problem. No tension. Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe. Rag Marg is a great fortune of teaching, a great gift of Mahaprabhu. An invaluable, incalculable gift of Mahaprabhu, Rag Marg. And Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Rag Marg Prachar. He came to preach Rag Marg. This is the purpose of Lord Chaitanya's Antaranga Karan, internal purpose. He's in Bhava Bhakti, he became attached to a deer. You're in Rag Bhakti, you're going to be so attached to your own Siddhanta and Guru Siddhanta. The deer, get deer. Some stinky deer will get out of here. And my Siddhanta, in Bhava Bhakti, that's very high. You're having Swurti of your Siddhanta and Swurti of Guru Siddhanta and occasional Swurti of Radha Krishna. There's no question how Swurti of a deer. That's the problem of Vaidhi sadhana. No rag. A special mercy in Rag Bhakti. You get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. He told everyone to do this, take it up. You take it up, you get special mercy of Lord Chaitanya. He came to teach us, he came to give Gopi Bhav. And he said, I don't want Gopi Bhav, I want to be a coward boy. I want Rag Marg, I want Vaidhi Marg. Okay, great. Jai Nitai. What is this? I'm Lord Chaitanya, I'm giving you Gopi Bhav. I'll give you Rag Marg. No thanks, I want to be a coward boy. What does that mean, man? I come to give you gifts. I don't want your gift. Get lost. I'll be back. I'll stay right here. I'll be back in 300 million years. Lord Chaitanya will come back to this earth planet in 300 million years. Next day of Brahma. I was here, I think 500 years ago, here is like nothing. And it's sphere of Lord Chaitanya, the sphere of Lord Chaitanya, the Bhava of Lord Chaitanya, and the Karuna of Lord Chaitanya is still alive in the hearts of traditional Vaishnavas, traditional Gaudiya Vaisnavas, like Anantadas and all the great Gaudiya Vaishnavas. They're carrying on the tradition of giving the great matchless gift of Lord Chaitanya. Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam. What's the time now? Now I'll tell you the time. I'll tell you the exact time. It's 5:27.
5:20.
What does it say?
5:22.
What does it say? What's it say?
5:22. She told it's 5:22.
5:22. Your clock is 5 minutes slow. Just Guru may be wrong, Guru may be right, Guru's always right. Any net questions? You guys are really dynamic duo. I'd like to see you guys together on Sunday. You really pack out 6 days of ecstasy in one day. They're good friends. 20 years. They always see each other Sunday. They had divorced, so she has visiting rights on Sunday. They're so happy when they get together. I see her all week long. She's all like, as soon as she's like, wow, my friend. She's like really happy. I see every day. And Muralika comes, very good deal.
It said that only by mercy of Lord Gauranga we can enter Krishna pastimes. So the question is, so we should develop first like Seva Bhav and Dasya Rasa to Lord Gauranga, and after that we can enter Madhurya Rasa. Is it true?
Okay. Can you ask a question? I didn't get a recorder. I'd like your voice. I'd like to hear your voice. Can you ask the question again?
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry.
Lord Chaitanya, to enter to Krishna pastimes, first we should satisfy Lord Chaitanya. So is it true that first we should develop Seva Bhav and Dasya Rasa to Lord Chaitanya, and after that we can, by his mercy, enter to Madhurya Rasa?
Nice question. The way he's asking, only by the mercy of Gauranga Mahaprabhu can we understand and enter into the pastimes of Radha Krishna. So in order to get that mercy of Lord Chaitanya, should we first develop Seva Bhav and the mood of Seva Bhav towards Lord Chaitanya to get his mercy? So the answer is it's not necessary. You have to understand the broader picture. When Raghavartman Chandrika, Vishwanath Chakravarti explains that the Raganuga Bhakti can begin in Nartha Nivriti, right in the very beginning of Bhakti, if you have Rag. If you have Rag, like you said before, your last question, for my last slide, I have attraction Radha Krishna. So in other words, your question is supposing I spent 5-6 years concentrating on Lord Chaitanya and read Chaitanya Mangal and all Lord Chaitanya, then I'll graduate and I read Radha Krishna. That's not how it works. It doesn't work like that at all. Just if you surrender to Gaudiya Sampradaya, that's enough. Just surrendering to Gaudiya Sampradaya is enough to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to get murtis of Lord Chaitanya. You don't have to do anything. You just surrender. You become a Gaudiya Vaishnava. That means you're pleasing Lord Chaitanya. By pleasing Lord Chaitanya, you get all the treasures he came to give. He came to give Gopi Bhav, Radha Krishna, Prem Seva, and Siddhanta, and all these things. So become a member of Gaudiya Sampradaya by taking Diksha from a proper guru, then it's all covered. Then from day one, right in the beginning after Diksha, you spend all your time reading Srimad Bhagavatam and reading about Krishna's Leela and all the books about Radha Krishna. And not even read anything much about Lord Chaitanya. No problem, because you have rag for that. Because that's what rag means. I want this. I have to read these things. Well, once you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, okay, good. Later, later, older. Right now, I'm my attraction is over here. Right now, I'm too absorbed in that. I'm sure Lord Chaitanya won't mind. Lord Chaitanya won't mind. You're day and night reading books by the 6 Goswamis, describing Radha Krishna's Leela and meditating on Leela. Lord Chaitanya will be very happy. He won't say, you didn't read Chaitanya Mangal, you read Chaitanya Bhagavat, you didn't read Chaitanya, you're bogus. No, he won't say that. Somebody on this level will say that. Lord Chaitanya, you met Lord Chaitanya, you'll say, great, that's what I came to give. You got it, good, you're a smart guy. Save a lot of time, put all your mind and heart there. There's no time to read all these other things. Life is short, you may live 5 more years and die, so you should get the essence. And you came to give the essence, take the essence and run with it. That's your rag. Nobody can stop you. Get out of my way. Football. You run that. You get it. Of course, we chant Panchatattva mantra. When you get Diksha, you get a Panchatattva mantra. So we worship Panchatattva mantra. And we do Yoga Vid Seya. We worship Lord Chaitanya Yoga Vid. And we read about Lord Chaitanya. We speak about Lord Chaitanya. We're Gaudiya Vaisnava. We're Gaudiya Vaisnava Tilak. The Vaita Parivar, Nityananda Parivar, Gadara Parivar, Shamananda Prabhu Parivar, Lokanath Parivar, Narottam Parivar, different tilaks, different parivars. The Vaita Parivar is Vatpatra, banyan leaf, shaped like a heart. This means I'm a Gaudiya Vaishnava. This means I'm getting this proof I'm being accepted by Lord Chaitanya. I'm serving. I'm pleasing him. Your Dasyarati is all your savior. Your Dasyarati, your Dasya Bhav, savior of the Lord Chaitanya is reading Govinda Lidamrita. This is your Dasya Bhav. Dasya means seva. So there's Dasya Rati and Madhurya Rati. Your Sthairati is Madhurya Rati. Just do everything with Madhurya Rati. Now you think I'm cooking and offering. I'm in Navadvip and Sachi Mata's kitchen cooking. No, you don't think like that. You think I'm in Nandagram and standing next to Radharani, putting wood in her stove so she can cook a 3 rice for Krishna. I'm in my monthly troop. I'm standing next to Radharani, I'm helping her cook. Jai Gaur. Jai Siddhanta. Without Guru, no one can understand anything. Everyone has so many wrong, confused ideas about bhajan. Madhurya Kadamati explains it, Vishnu explains it. It's called Sadhana Tava Brahm. It's called Sadhya Sadhana Tava Brahm. Be confused about the goal of bhakti and the way of practicing bhakti. That's everywhere is all confusion because there's no proper guru to teach proper Siddhanta, the proper way of bhajan. So everybody's left to their own brain now. You're a very intelligent man, very smart devotee. That's good. You're a good lucky guy. So smart and brahmachari, very good. You're very fortunate. So you're thinking, you're making good conclusions, but they're not quite on the mark. Nice question. Thank you for that question.
What about Harinam Sankirtan, book distribution?
Just like, for example, there's millions of Gaur bhajans, Nitai Parakama, all this kind of thing. They're real good. I only sing about Radha Krishna. So I'm not getting mercy Lord Chaitanya. I sing Jai Radha Kunda Vihari. Everything about Radha Krishna. I say Nitai Gaur Radhisham. I'm a kanta. My bhajan is a kanta. It's Radha Krishna and Kunjali Bas. How I got there by the University of Gaudiya Vaisnava. I was the temple president of the Gaudiya Vaisnava temple for 4 years in Baltimore. Yeah, I have 47 years behind me. So this is where I am now at this time of life. I study books every day for 6 years. I say to the Lord, everything I'm doing is say to the Lord Chaitanya. Everything I'm doing is say to the Lord Chaitanya. I don't know anything about bhakti because of Lord Chaitanya and Prabhupada. So I understood about Raghunath Bhakti after 12 years in ISKCON. I found out about Raghunath Bhakti in 1987. I'm following it since 87. You found out about it last year. So good luck for you. You saved a lot of time. You're more fortunate than I am. Jaya Radhe. Lucky soul. This kid's 20 years old. And she's into Rag Marg like crazy. It's Purva Sanskars. Previous good Bhakti Sanskars. So we have to recognize where fortune falls, we have to recognize it. We have to accept it, believe it, recognize it, and honor it. She's an honorable person, lucky soul. 20 years, between 20 and 36, a lot of Maya happens. Ask anybody that's past the age 20 to 36. Can be a lot of Maya in there. Jai Radhe. Every day I spend about an hour meditating on Lord Chaitanya. Chanting his mantra, Pancha mantra, meditating on Lord Chaitanya. So I'm a teacher of Gaudiya Siddhanta. So Lord Chaitanya likes me. But I don't sing Nitai Guru bhajans. I'm sorry, I don't sing Advaita bhajans. I sing about Radha and Krishna. Is that my fault? I don't sing much. I don't know many bhajans. But only my mind goes there at this point. So if you're at that point already, don't stop now. Don't turn around and go backwards. Your nose is pointing forward. Your eyes are in front of your head, not in the back of your head. What's behind you is behind you. Don't turn your head, don't look back. They say don't look back. Future is bright, the future is there, the past is there. Don't look back. Behind you something. What was is past. What is won't last. At all times be steadfast, chant Hare Krishna, and have a blast. That's my sweet note, one of my published sweet notes. Okay. I have one question. I'm waiting for the right time to release it. I calculate all the stars exactly the right time. What? Any more questions? Yeah.
Manjari Bhav is the commonly used term, but could you give a little more deeper explanation of Tata Bhav Ichamai, like the deeper meaning of the full term Tata Bhav Ichamai?
Yeah, Rupa Goswami and Bhakti Sindhu and Raganuga Bhakti chapters, or the section he's discussing Rag Bhakti, first way, chapter 2, verse 270 to 309, he describes the Gopi's Bhav, the Madhurya Rati, the serving Krishna amorous love, and there's two types of Bhav in amorous love. One is called Sambhogichatmika, one is called Tat-Tat Bhavichatmika. So the Sakhis, like Radharani, Lita Vishaka, and the Nayakas of Krishna, they have Sambhogichatmika. Their Icha means desire, Atma means myself, my very self. Their very self, their very existence, Atmika, is made of desire to give pleasure, amorous pleasure, enjoyment to Krishna, with their bodies, minds, and emotions, everything. So another type is called Tat Bhavichatmika. That type of Sakhi, it's the type of Sakhi that desires to experience the Bhav, the desire, their Icha Bhav, they desire to taste that Bhav that Radharani is tasting. To experience the Bhav in Radharani's heart when she's serving Krishna and Sambhog Vilas. So that category is called Kinkari, Dasi, Paricharani, Anacharani, And commonly, Rupa Goswami introduced the term Mantri. The name Mantri is introduced by Rupa Goswami. In ancient Shastras, it's called Sakhi Bhav, it's called Sakhi Bhav. But tat means that Bhav, that Bhav, tat Bhav. Tat means that Bhav, I desire that Bhav. I don't desire to enjoy, I desire to relish and experience the Bhav that Radharani relishes and enjoys when she's with Krishna. I want to taste that and serve that and assist that. That's the Dasi Manjari. Nice question. You're cooking up some good questions.
Sweet answer.
Right. Thank you. Is there a question on your mobile? Doing your work? Okay. Playing tic-tac-toe? Okay. Hey, what? Ring my chime. Behind the door was a wind chime. I had it hanging on the veranda. I got it from America. It was $80. It was a good one. The thing, the company's called Ring My Chimes or something. It's called wind chime. It's hanging on the there, and it didn't make, the wind doesn't blow much. Don't hear it. So I moved in there, and I when I make offerings, when I wake up at the deities in the morning, I ring that first. It makes a very nice sound. And when he goes to sleep, I put Krishna to sleep, and then I ring that, make it go ding ding like that. Very nice. It's something. It's a very beautiful thing. If you want, I give the address. It's I have a website. You can order by net. But it had to, it has that much wind. I don't know. Maybe on your first floor veranda, on the east side, you may get some wind. But it's hard to hear it in your room downstairs, I like it better Christian here. Actually, when the door's open, the wind's blowing, the wind goes in. It's not wind, it's the wind, wind. The wind comes in the door and blows the chime. When I live in my bedroom, I study in my bedroom a lot. And if I open the door halfway, the wind flows through and because the wind wants to serve Krishna. So Vayodev comes in to ring that, this is my wind chime, Krishna. So Vayodev comes in to worship Giriraj, rings the chime. Everything's personal. Any more questions? Yeah.
Maharaj, in Navdeep Shatakam, 70th slok, it's mentioned that Prabhupada and Saraswati is mentioning that.
That's Prabhupada and Saraswati?
Yes.
Navdeep Shatakam, it's written by Prabhupada and Saraswati? Is that the author? Okay. What does it say?
It says if you're not worshipping Navdeep Dham, then Vrindavan is very far away. Braj eva dure. If you're not worshipping 9 islands of.
If you're not worshipping Navadvip Dham, Braj is far away. So who's in Navadvip Dham? The question is, if you're not worshipping Navadvip Dham, Braj is far away. So Brijvasis are far away from Braj? Brijvasis are born here, they don't even know what Navadvip is or where it is. They don't know, they think it's some city of Russia or something. They don't worship Navadvip, they don't visit, they don't see it, they don't touch it. There's something called Prabhudatta Desh. That's just some glorification of Navadvip Dham. It's just exaggerated glorification. But it doesn't have any substance and truth or reality. The Goswamis, where did the Goswamis live? They didn't know Goswami lived in Navadvip Dham. They were in Puri. Das Goswami was in Puri. They were there for a little while when Lord Chaitanya was there. For a couple of years he was there, they moved to Puri. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya moved to Puri. He was in Navadvip teaching Naya. He moved to Puri. And so many people, Srodhana moved to Puri. He was a great guru and teacher in Navadvip. And Das Goswami, he was not even in Navadvip, he was somewhere else in his village. He moved to Puri for 16 years. And when they wrote about where to do bhajan, they said Vrindavan. Panchanka Bhakti mentioned twice in Bhakti Rasvi. Mathura Vasa Stha, he doesn't say anything about Navadvip or Jagannath Puri. The six Goswamis' own example, they lived 60 years in Vrindavan, Radha Kunda. They said to do bhajan in Vrindavan. So that's the glorification. It's not a tattva, it's not a shiksha, it's not an instruction. Because Shastra gets instruction, it's called Vid Shastra Vidi, a law you have to follow Ekasi. There's no interpretation of that. It's not shiksha. I mean, it's shiksha, it's instruction. And some is literary glorification, some is exaggerated, many types of statements in Shastra. You have to understand the context, you have to understand the Guru. We prefer to read Vrindavan Mahamrita by the same author. Prabhupada Saraswati, he was never a Navadvip himself. He's glorifying from a distance.
Somebody sent me this question actually.
Oh, it's okay. Any question doesn't matter the source of the question. Question's a question. You answer it. I'm not going to hit you on the head because you asked a question. It's okay. But the point is that Prabhupada Saraswati, at least we say that he was Prakashananda Saraswati. He was a Advaitin sannyasi from Benares that Lord Chaitanya met and preached to him. He converted, became a Gaudiya Vaisnava, he moved to Vrindavan, he got the name Prabhupada Saraswati. That's what we say in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, traditional Vaishnavas. Prakashananda Saraswati became Prabhupada Saraswati. You got Saraswati's still there, but Prakashananda, that's like a Prakash means like Jyoti, Brahma Jyoti. So we got Prabodhananda. So he wrote Vrindavan Mahamrita. So he never went, he never saw Navadvip, he never looked, so he saw Navadvip, he doesn't, so he not walking his stock. He's saying go to Navadvip, he lived in Vrindavan himself. He lived 35, 40 years on the bank of Yamuna in Vrindavan. So we have to understand everything in context. If you're in Navadvip, you jump up and down, waving Navadvip, something in the air. Navadvip down, Navadvip down. Okay, great for you, all glories. Stay there, be happy. You're good, I'm good. We're all good. You're good, I'm good, we're all good. You're right, I'm right, we're all right. We're all right, we're all right, we're all right. You're right. You're right. We're both right. Okay, we're all right, we're all right. In transcendence, it's all subjective. There's no right or wrong. It's all perfect. It's only Om Purnam Purnamidam Idam. Purnam Udachate. From the perfect, everything comes perfect. There's no duality in perfection. It's all subjective. You see it that way, it's great. Keep looking that way. I see it this way, I keep looking this way. You see Gaur Bhajan and Navadvip Dham Vas, great. I see Radha Krishna Bhajan, Vrindavan Vas, great. Jai Radhe, Jai Gaur, Jai Radhe, Jai Gaur, Jai Radhe, Jai Gaur, Jai Radhe, Gaur. Jai Jai Sri Radhe! It's obviously we're on one team over here. We're undercover Gaudiyas, we're Gaudiyas who are really Radha Bhaktas, Gaur Radha, Gaurangi, we're worshiping Gaurangi. So we're worshiping Gaurangi by chanting Gaurangi. Okay, now we have a question from the net. The question is, we had a question ourselves, is Radharani in the Gita? Is Radharani in the Gita? So we searched, Google search, the Adi Guru for the world today. The Jagat Guru of the world today is Google search. So we searched, Google search, Radha and Gita, Geeta, Indian style, and Radha and Gita, Gita. So believe it or not, Gita has more entries than Geta. So all these entries, Radha and Gita, say like this. They say Radharani's not in the Gita, Radharani's not mentioned in the Gita, she's not mentioned in Mahabharata, she's not mentioned in Bhagavad Puran. Every article says, every post, every YouTube movie, everything says that. So today we're going to show and prove how Radharani is in the Gita. So the title of this section, for those who are translating to Russian, English, Swahili, etc., the title of this lecture is Radha in Gita, Gita. Write it down. Take this note. Secretary Dasi. Saki Dasi, Secretary. Radha in Gita, Vas. Not the Gita, Radha in Gita, Vas. Short and sweet. So how to begin? How did Radharani get in the Gita? So how did Radharani get in the Gita in the first place? That's the first question. Krishna came to Kurukshetra when he was 55 years old. He came to Kurukshetra on a Suryagrahan. There was an eclipse of the sun planet. He came from Dwarka. The Yadavas came from Indraprastha, from Delhi, Indraprastha, Meerut, whatever. And the Vrishnis came from Mathura side. And Krishna and all the Yadavams and all the people that came from Dwarka. And all the Nanda Baba and Yashoda and Radharani, all Gopis, everybody went in the one expansion of Radharani, which is explained in Radha Krishna Smarana Padati by Dhyan Chandra. There's three different forms of Radha. So Radha expanded one form. She went, all the Gopis and Nanda Baba, everybody went to Kurukshetra for a lunar eclipse, solar eclipse. So there, Krishna met the Gopis. He met Radharani. How old was Krishna when he went to Kurukshetra?
55.
Right. He was 55 years old. Panchpan. Panchpan Sahoga. So how many years was how many years was the last time the Gopis saw him? He was 11 years old, now he's 55. 44 years, no darshan of Krishna. Right? 55, hold up. So, Vishnu Chakravarti explains in the 82nd chapter of Gita, explains Krishna and Balaram meet the residents of Vrindavan in Kurukshetra. And Krishna met all the Rishis, Yadavas, and then Krishna slipped away secretly, went to meet the Gopis. And he was giving different excuses why he didn't come back for so long. I had so much seva to do there, and this and that. And then it said, when the Gopis saw Krishna, it says, they saw him from a distance. First he was walking towards them. They were all collected in one area, living at Kurukshetra. And it says in Sanskrit, this is 82nd chapter, text 39. It says, Drigbir Riddhi Kritam Alam Parvavya Sarvas. The Gopis saw Krishna, Radharani saw Krishna. They took Krishna through to the holes of their eyes and tightly embraced him in their heart. They took Krishna into their hearts through their eyes and embraced him to their full satisfaction in their hearts. They became totally absorbed in ecstatic meditation on Krishna. That's their first sight of Krishna. Then he got closer, and then they went to a secluded place, and he started. Then Krishna, when Krishna got away from all the crowd, went in the forest somewhere and met all the Gopis. Then he expanded himself and embraced every Gopi individually in Kurukshetra. Tightly embraced each one. And they were already in trance from meditate, taking them in the heart, and they were like in a trance. They woke up from the trance, and Krishna jokingly laughed. He said, now are you relieved from your anxiety and separation? I said, yeah. He said, yeah, yes, very much. And then Krishna said, my dear Sakhis, my dear Priyajis, do you still remember me? What are you talking about? What kind of question is that? So this was the meeting there they had. Then they spoke so many, the gopis spoke to him so many nice things, and so much tikas are there by Vishnu. You can see it in Sardadarshini. So that's the meeting. We're 55 years old. Oh, one thing. So someone, they said, on these articles, they said, Radharani is not in the Bhagavad Puran, and she's not in the Mahabharata, so she's not so significant. A lot of people say that. But we did some research, and it's Radharani is in the Shrutis. She's mentioned in the Atharva Veda. She's mentioned, Radharani by name is mentioned in Atharva Veda and Rig Veda. These original Shrutis, four original Vedas are Atharva Veda, Rig Veda, Samaveda, and Yajurveda. These are four. So she's mentioned in Rig Veda and Atharva Veda. And she's not mentioned in Bhagavad Puran and Vishnu Puran. I say Radharani is not in the Vishnu Puran, which is a major Puran, and Bhagavad Puran and Mahabharata. But Radharani is mentioned by name directly in Gopal Tavani Upanishad. In the Upanishads, in Shrutis and Upanishads, Radharani is mentioned. And she's mentioned in Padma Puran, Skanda Puran, Brahma Bhagavad Puran, Brahmanda Puran, Devi Bhagavat, Matsya Puran, Varaha Puran, Radha Tantra, and Naradiya Puran. So there. So they say Radharani is not in the Bhagavatam. My guru, my teacher told me, they say that, because I asked this very same question. People say that, but they're not Rasika. They're not Rasik. Rasik Vaishnavas, they see Radharani in every verse of the Bhagavatam. There's 18,000 verses of the Bhagavatam. My guru is a Sanskrit Pandit and Shastriya Pandit, Shastra Nipun. He said, Rasik Vaishnava, Gaudiya Vaishnava Rasik will see Radha in every verse. And most especially, it's very clearly indicated Radharani in the 30th chapter, 28th verse, famous verse. Radharani's name, because they say Radharani's names are her name is right here. 10th canto, chapter 30, verse 28. Aniya Radito. Radito, Aniya Radito. None other than Radharani. Anana Radito Nunam Bhagavan Harishara. Yanno Vihaya Govinda Prito Yam Anayadraha. Some special gopi has fervently worshipped Krishna Govinda. We were so pleased with her, they took off and left us, everyone else in the Rasa dance. So, Radha's name is mentioned in the Prabodhanandi. Radharani's name is directly mentioned throughout the Vedas, Vishnu says. She's in the Purusha Bodhini Upanishad of the Atharva Veda. There it says in that section, in Gokul, Srimati Radharani and Chandravali Devi stand on the left and right side of Krishna. They're the two main gopis. And in the Gautamiya Tantra, it says, Devi Krishnamai Prokta Radhika Paradevata. Radhika shines brilliantly. She's not different from Krishna. And Krishna Upanishad, and this and that. He quotes so many shlokas. So this shows in the Bhagavatam, the Radharani is in the Bhagavatam, chapter 30, verse 28, and every verse of the Bhagavatam. So they say Radharani is not in the Bhagavatam. We say she is in the Bhagavatam. Vishnu says she is in the Bhagavatam. Very clearly, on Radhito. Who's Radhito? Radhito, Radha, Radharani. So now, how is Radha in the Bhagavad Gita? Stay awake, Bhagavati. Don't sleep yet. You get up at 3 o'clock. By 12 hours later, you're really beat, 3 o'clock, she's like, wow, I've had 12 hours, 14 hours, it's almost 15 hours now, I'm dying. take rest later. No, it's good. It's an inspiration for me. You keep inspiring me. Someday, actually, about 3 days ago, I got up at 3 o'clock. I could do it too. I had to take rest early. I usually take rest at 11. A little hard. Anyway, 3 is best time. It's actually best time. So, Krishna came back to Kurukshetra. How old was he now? He was fit when he met Radha and Gopal. He was 55 years old. He came a second time to Kurukshetra to speak Bhagavad Gita, Battle of Kurukshetra, right? So how old was he then? He was 100 years old. Exosal. Okay. 100 years old. So he was there, he met Radharani at 55 years old, and 45 years later, Krishna was in the same place. The same trees were there. Trees lived for hundreds of years. So when Krishna went to was at Kurukshetra speaking the Gita, when he walked there, he saw the place. He saw that tree. There's the trees. I met Radharani under this tree. I met Alita here in this place. And we had so many talks together. So when Krishna went to Kurukshetra, the Kshetra became Udipan to remember Radharani. So this place is also Udipan. Vrindavan is Udipan to remember Krishna's Leela. We go to Varsana, we get inspired to remember Krishna's Leela, Varsana. So when Krishna returned to Kurukshetra, he was meditating on Radharani, he was thinking of Radharani. And first he started speaking to Arjuna about karma and gyan, chapter 1 through 6. And again in chapter 13 through 18 he talks about gyan. But then in chapter 7 through 12, Krishna's talking about bhakti. What is bhakti? So obviously when Krishna's mind turns away from karma and gyan and turns to bhakti, his mind has to turn to Radharani. Because bhakti means devotee, love of Krishna. And the greatest lover and greatest devotee of Krishna is Radharani. So when Krishna was speaking Gita, he was already thinking of Radharani by seeing the trees, by being in Kurukshetra and seeing the same trees that he stood under with Radharani. So he was very much absorbed in thoughts of Radharani. So when he's speaking of chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, he finally gets to chapter 12. And chapter 12 is called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga. Who's the greatest Bhakti Yogini? Greatest Bhakti Yogi, greatest Bhakti is Radharani. So when he started to speak chapter 12, he started to think of, he said, Bhakti, Radharani Prem. Radharani is my greatest Bhakti, greatest devotee. She's the example of devotion for the whole world, whole universe. She's the example of pure devotion. Selfless love, selfless seva. No selfishness, everything for me, everything for my happiness and pleasure. So he starts thinking naturally. Because you're at work doing one thing, but your mind is somewhere else. So he's teaching Arjuna with his mind, and tongue, but his heart is meditating on Radharani. So he starts speaking about bhakti, and then he gets more than halfway through teaching about bhakti. Then Radharani takes over his mind. There's 20 verses in chapter 20. It's the shortest chapter. You want to chant one chapter in Gita Jayati chapter, you can't chant chapter 12. It's Gita Jayati, I should chant Gita. I don't know how much time. I'm busy reading Gopi Gita and Gita Govinda. So I had to worship God with Gita. So I read Bhakti Yoga chapter, 20 verses. Okay. I read all 18 chapters here, Maha Yogi, That's also good. I've done both. So after he finished halfway, he got to 12 verse. He got to 13, 14, he started speaking Radharani. So the last 7 verses of chapter 12 speak all about Radharani. What's the proof? Because every verse ends with this phrase. Every verse is from verse 14 to 20 ends with the phrase Bhakta Same Priya. Bhakta Same Priya. Who is Priya? Priyaji is Radharani. Priyaji Radharani ki. She's a Priyaji, Sriji, Priyaji, Radharani. So Krishna's remembering Radharani, can't speak, Radharani's name is, Radharani's presence, her very name is in the Gita. Chapter 12, Gita, Bhakti Yoga chapter, verse 14 through 20, every verse talks about Radharani. But what is in these 8 verses? 8 verses from 13 to 20. These 8 verses describe 35 qualities of the best devotee. These verses describe 35 qualities of the best devotee. So who is the best devotee? Radharani. So all the qualities described here in chapter 12, verse 13 through 20 are qualities of Radharani. That's why he said, Priyaji, it says, if someone develops these qualities, they become very dear to me. Priya means dear, and Priya means the dearest. The dearest Priya is Priya Radha. We have Priya Kunj. We know about this place called Priya Kunj and Priya Kund, Priyaji. So I don't accept that Radharani's not in the Gita. Radharani's all over the Bhagavad Gita, especially in the Bhakti Yoga chapter, because she's the queen of Bhakti. She's Bhakti Devi. She's the queen of Bhakti. What is Bhakti? Bhakti is Ladani Shakti. Ladani Shakti and Samvid Shakti. Bhakti is a combination of Radha's power and Krishna's power. So Bhakti Yoga means Radha Yoga. 12th chapter is Radha Yoga chapter. Radha Bhakti Yoga chapter. New title for chapter 12. Radha Bhakti Yoga. Priya Bhakti Yoga. So let's read the verses. So it says, verse 13 says, Advaita Sarvabhutanam Maitra Karna Evacha Nirmamo Nirahankara Samaduka Sukhaswami. The Radharani Sarvabhutanam, she's a friend to everyone, and she's full of mercy, and she has no possessiveness, and she's free from all false identity, ego, and she's balanced in happiness and distress, and she's very forgiving. So if someone develops these qualities, they become very dear to Krishna. So these verses at the end, Mad Bhakta Samepriya, Bhakta Supriya. So this verse is Bhakta. The next verse he says, that's 13 and 14. Then 15 says, Yasman Nodrijate Lokal, Lokan Nodrijate Saya, Harsha Marsha Bayodweger Mukti Yes, Chame Priya. First he talked about a bhakta. A bhakta is very dear. Then he talked a mukta is very dear. It has these qualities. Mukta means free from. The word mukta in this verse means one is free from fear. No one's put into difficulty. Radharani doesn't put anyone into difficulty. Radharani is never disturbed by anyone. Krishna kisses Chandravali right in front of her. She doesn't get disturbed. She just goes into man. Her mind doesn't get agitated. She shows man because Krishna likes to break her man. Okay, because Krishna's only kissing Chandravali so he can save Radharani's man. Krishna's using Chandravali to bring out man and Radharani because his favorite lila is Man Bhanga lila. So Chandravali is serving the cause of Radharani. Because she's a cousin sister. The father of Chandravali is Vrishabhanu's brother, Chandrabhanu. So they're cousin sisters. Hey, you're Chandravali, my cousin sister. I love you so much. So Radharani, she's free from fear, Bhaya Mukta, Udvega, agitation, everything. She's material emotions. All this was this Harsha, Marsha. This is all material emotions. She's free from all material jealousy, fear, anxiety. She doesn't have any of that. So she's Priya. So text 16. Arapeksha Shuchir Daksha Vidasino Gatavyata Sarama Prityagi Yome Bhakta Same Priya Priyaji Radharani Ki Jai. Verse 16. My devotee Radharani doesn't strive for any result. She's clean, expert, impartial, free from desire and anxiety. So that's all Radharani's qualities. She's like that. And then 17. Na yo na rishyati na dveshti, asociati na kankshati, shuva shuva prityagi, bhaktiman. So now Krishna changes wording. He says bhakta, he says bhakta samepriya, bhakta samepriya, bhakta samepriya. Now in text, coming to the end of this chapter, these are the last 4 verses, he changes the tune. The last 3 verses changes from bhakta to bhaktaman. So bhakta means a bhakta, but bhaktaman means a special bhakta. So these are special qualities of Radharani. So he said, because he says, first he says bhakto samepriya, and then he says bhaktaman samepriya, and the next verse 18, 19 says bhaktaman, and then concludes by verse 20, parama bhakta. The first bhakta, bhaktaman, parama bhakta samepriya. So Radharani is a bhakta, she's a bhaktaman, she's a parama bhakti. So he ends the verse loudly, being the kettle drum. Radharani's glories are loudly to pronounce in verse 20 of chapter 12 of the Bhagavad Gita. Priyaji Radharani ki. So let's read translation 17. Radharani doesn't rejoice, doesn't hate anyone. She doesn't hanker or lament, and the word that translated is not correct. She's renounced good and hatred. She's filled with devotion to me. So it's Bhaktiman, one who's filled with devotion. Who's filled with more devotion than Priyaji Radharani? I ask you. Can you answer it? No. So 18 and 19. Samashatro chamitre cha tatamana pamanayo shitoshna shukadukeshu samasanga vivarjita tuya ninda stutirmoni santushta kena kena chit aniketa sira matir bhakti man me priyo nara. So in other words, person, nara, whatever. These are more qualities of Radharani. She's equal to friends and enemies. She's balanced in honor and disgrace. She's not affected by heat or cold, pleasure or pain. She doesn't associate with materialistic people like her husband. Abhimanyu is her husband. Every night he sleeps in the Gosala. And every night Radharani dances in the Rasastali. Rasashala. That was a good deal. So she has no association. She's free from associated with materialistic people. She's indifferent to blame or praise, criticism or praise. Some people criticize Radharani. She's silent. She's satisfied in any circumstance. She's unattached to her home. Aniketa. Niketa means home. Like you can call Vrishabhan Niketan. Niketan means, like we say Raj Bhavan, it's a palace. But Niketan, but she's Aniketan. Aniketan, I'm not attached to her home. Where's Radharani's home? Radharani's home is in the kunjas of Vrindavan. Jaya Radha Madhav Kunja Bihari. Govijana Vallabha Giri Varadari. So Radharani Aniketa, she's not attached to her home. One night she's in this kunja, next night in that kunja, this kunja. Never sleeps in the same flower bed. She sleeps in a new flower bed every night. Sometimes Kamavan, this one, that one, Nirvan, Girvan, Radha Kunda, everywhere. So her house is in one place where it's not. She never sleeps there at night. She comes at 6 o'clock in the morning, sleeps for 5 minutes, wakes up at 6:05. So the last verse 20. Gita chapter 12. Ye tu dharmamritamidam yatoktam paripasate shradadana matparma bhakta ativa mepriya. Ativa means excessively, exceedingly dear. Ativa priya. Ativa priya is none other than Radharani, Priyaji Radharani. Ativa priya. This person is my param bhakta is ativa. It's supremely dear to me. This is clearly like a kettle drum, like a dundavi drum. This Radharani. Bhakti Yoga means Radharani. So, One who completely takes, here's the translation verse. Ye tu dharmamritam idam. One who completely takes up the nectarine path full of good qualities and who is full of faith and completely absorbed in Krishna is most dear to Krishna. So dharmamritam means the nectar path of good qualities. So Radharani has all these 35 qualities, unlimited amount, and she's following the dharmamritam pot, and she's a parama bhakta ativa. She's a parama bhakta ativa priya. Ativa means excessively. We say there's a sloka in Bhagavatam, Ti Rena Bhakti Yogena. Akama Sarva Kama Moksha Kama Dharidi. Ti Rena Bhakti Yogena. Vijeta Purushamparam. Tiva means intense, so Ativa means intensely priya. Ativa. So this is Radharani in the Gita. So by this discussion, by the mercy of Veda Prabhu and my Gurudev, Sri Paramahansa, Sri Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, we have presented very clearly that Radharani is clearly in the Bhagavad Gita throughout from chapter 12 of the Gita, verse 14 through 20. So on this note, we'll end the satsang chanting Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe.